say some horrific things.
Which means they didn't hear much of anything.
GQ magazine, of all places, has exposed this story. In the days surrounding the U.S. invasion of Iraq, cover sheets like the ones I'm about to show you began adorning top-secret intelligence briefings produced by Donald Rumsfeld's Pentagon. These cover sheets juxtapose war images with inspirational Bible quotes and were delivered by Rumsfeld himself to the White House, where they were read by the man who, just after September 11, referred to America's war on terror as a crusade. You guys ready to do some close-ups? This is in order. This is an actual cover sheet from a Defense Department briefing. It's got pictures of praying soldiers and the Bible quote, "Whom shall I send and who will go with us? Here I am, Lord, send me," from Isaiah
6:8.
6:8. This is our national government, right? These are the guys supposed to represent all of us, no matter what religious persuasion, and supposedly not conducting a holy war. Here's one. "If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast, O Lord." And it's a psalm something. Matt might know that.
No.
Can you imagine Donald Rumsfeld putting these things together or ordering his staff? Put together something George will really like. More war images, right? That's soldiers marching in tanks and things. And their arrows are sharp, all their bows are strung, their horses' hooves seem like flint, their chariot wheels are like a whirlwind. That's
More Isaiah.
Another Isaiah. "Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground," stay your course, so to speak. "And after you have done everything, to stand," from Ephesians. Here's the one that creeps me out the most. We all believed that the Bush administration thought this way, but here is pretty clear freaking evidence. "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed." Doesn't matter whether they've actually got weapons of mass destruction over there.
You know, before the show,
You just have to say you think they do and commit it to the Lord, and you'll be successful.
Before the show, Steve asked if that was a fortune cookie, and we kind of laughed. And actually, it is, because that's from Proverbs, which is just a book full of fortune cookies. It's Jewish fortune cookies.
Here we go. "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go, even if you go into a country that was no threat to us whatsoever." Bush must have especially liked this one. It's a picture of Saddam. "It is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish men." Seems to me, in retrospect, the foolish men whose talk has been silenced are the members of the Bush administration. "Open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the nation that keeps faith." Another Isaiah. Let's see. "The king is not saved by a might army." There's a typo in it. "A warrior is not delivered by great strength. A horse is a false hope for victory. Nor does it deliver anyone by its great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope for his loving kindness to deliver their soul from death." So you don't need to send enough troops to get the job done, even a job you shouldn't have been doing in the first place, because all you got to do is be Christian. That's all you got to do. This is in the White House during the Iraq War.
The interesting thing about there being a typo there
Yeah.
means that, first of all, they're not technologically savvy enough to know how to cut and paste. But it means that somebody actually sat there and typed it in from a Bible or a Bible website or whatever else.
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody just said, "Oh, I grabbed some quotes and stuck them in
There's a nice short and sweet one. Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face continually. Because, you know, that has something to do with us winning the war in Iraq that we shouldn't have been in.
Daniel's a book that most Christians identify as a book of prophecy. Right down to supposed prophecies about, you know, Messiah and everything else. This particular one is where the supposed hand of God comes in and writes on the wall.
That's supposed to be God's disembodied fingers?
Yeah. That, you know, your days are numbered, your kingdom's divided, and I'm going to take you out. And by using a verse like that, they're basically saying that, you know, we are in the position of the good king.
Yeah.
Who has the authority of God to come in and take over this divided land.
So in case there was any doubt whatsoever, it wasn't just a few weird generals that said crazy religious things about the war in Iraq. It just wasn't. It wasn't. It was the, well, it was Rumsfeld and Bush, at least, on top of that.
The only thing that I'm happy about with this is that those weren't sent out to troops. That the average troop wasn't necessarily, they may have been getting similar messages from other people, but this you know, it's bad, but it could have been worse, I guess.
I suppose that's true, but you know, this is the kind of stuff that we atheists make a big freaking deal all the time about separation of church and state. It's perfectly okay for George Bush to believe whatever he wants when he's in office doing his job. It's fine, but to hinge like the success of our nation in a war, to hinge the reason for the war on the biblical justifications, that's over a crazy line.
To me, though, this is a way, you know, without crafting it as a conspiracy. The Joint Chiefs are not going to let them hinge the success of our military venture on prayer.
Well,
they understand, you know, what it takes to win. This is more about motivating somebody to action in the first place. Yeah, there's pink over there.
It's gone now.
But yeah, this to me strikes me as the, you know, we're going to give our president his, you know, daily intelligence briefings, and we're going to include these not so subliminal messages
and not
about
so
God directing people to war.
Yeah, I mean, what we need when we have a leader, whatever it is that they believe, we need them to make clear, rational decisions. That's what we need. And so it's not it's not that that the separation of church and state means that only a non-believer should be president. No matter how great that would be. It means that when you are in charge of our nation, you need to be level-headed and not deciding what to do and allowing your decisions to be influenced by, you know, weird ancient prophecies and stuff. That's just not cool. Not safe. Not sane.
Oh, there's something about this, though, that you know, when I was talking about how you put verses like that on there in order to motivate and send a specific message. So you're talking to, you're basically, it's a method of propaganda, and you know your target audience.
But this wasn't propaganda. This is internal.
No, it's propaganda. It's propaganda to Bush. It is. They're trying to convince Bush to take some kind of action. It's just knowing your target audience. It's no different from what anybody would do. The thing is, though, in those cases where, let's say, all of that stuff had been removed, all of the religious stuff had been removed, and I'm just hypothesizing here about a president who's going to make decisions like that, who is a sincere believer, and even though nobody has actually pushed these particular verses on him, he's sitting around struggling with what decision should I make with regard to the war, and he decides to crack this book open, and he comes across a passage, any of those passages, and says, "Oh, God has, you know, given me the answer
Yeah.
It's, rather than me having to take any responsibility for the decision God is
cracking open the Bible at random and looking at a verse for inspiration is no different than consulting the magic 8-ball.
Well, except that there's more possible answers.
There's more possible answers, including, the magic 8-ball does not say, go kill them all.
Here, the cowering prisoners will soon be set free. They will not die in their dungeon, nor will they lack bread. Hey.
Everything's cool.
That's Isaiah 51:14.
Everything's cool. So that important rescue we had planned, no hurry. Completely freaking irrelevant and should not enter into the decision making at all on any level.